Hello and welcome to Cacho On, a Game Center CX podcast. My name is Sam and with me here is Jackson, also known as One Punch Jackson. Jackson, how are your improv classes going?
Yo!
That was the incorrect answer. You were
is
supposed to respond with yes and.
Oh,
so I know your
shnikey.
classes are going poorly if you are attending at all.
I've been skipping. It's episode 1.
Episode 1.
It's exciting.
Yes. Today's game that Areno challenged is Mystery of Atlantis.
Yes.
Or known by its Japanese title, Atlantis no Natsu. Is that right?
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. Why don't you tell us a little bit about that game?
So this is a game from Sunsoft. Is there any relation to Chunsoft, do you know?
Is that a...
That's a real question.
No,
I feel like there's a bunch of games that I've played where the beginning says Chunsoft. I don't know if that's...
Like shoot 'em ups, right?
Yeah. Like arcade, I don't know.
If we're wrong, this is going to sound so stupid. Everyone's going to know we're the wrong people to be making this podcast.
Anyway, well, it's about the show, not the game. So this is a game from 1986 that was originally released on the Famicom, in America known as the Nintendo Entertainment System. And it never released over here. So if you haven't heard of it, me neither before this episode.
But it has an American or an English title?
That could have just...
Or is that just a literal translation?
It must be, because in the episode... I mean, it could have also been the subtitlers for the episode.
Right.
Making the translation.
So Jackson no Natsu would mean Mystery of Jackson.
I would have to imagine so.
I'm gonna abuse the shit out of those forever.
This is a platformer, a side-scrolling platformer with 100 stages.
Yeah. Or as the game at one point puts it, the insane 100 level action game.
And from what I saw, it is pretty insane.
Oh my god, it's absolutely bonkers. No rhyme or reason or coherence, it seems like.
Like the imagine, you know, if you know the like bombable walls in Zelda 1, where it's basically you have to bomb every single pixel on the screen to get all of them. It's that, but like worse somehow.
But it goes beyond that.
Yeah.
Jumping ahead a little bit, so when Areno finally finds some warps to help him not have to play 100 levels, to get to one of them, he has to stand in a very specific spot and fucking kill himself. Do you remember that?
He has to bomb and then jump to avoid killing himself.
No, that's closer to the end.
That's a different one.
Yeah, it was like stage 54.
Oh no, you jump down a hole. Is that what you're talking about? Are you talking about the bomb?
That's a different one too.
Oh my god.
But these are all great examples.
Yeah.
You know? No, he literally has to stand in a spot, throw down a bomb and fucking die.
Yeah.
In one specific spot. And when he does so, he will warp to a later level.
Yeah. And so the warps are, picture like the Mario warp zones, just as like a base functionality where they'll take you to a later stage, but sometimes they take you to an earlier stage.
Yeah.
It really is like no one should have played this game.
No, I have a lot of notes about how indicative this was of that era's game design.
Yeah.
You know, because they're still... So obviously they want to throw in a lot of cool stuff, a lot of surprises, a lot of neat things, a lot of things that haven't been done before. And, you know, in that sense, I'd say they accomplished that, but it's so... What's the word? Oblique. It's so like... How am I supposed to know that?
Yeah. It's... When later on, this is kind of jumping ahead also, but they bring in a strategy guide for the game, that it makes sense that those existed up until, you know, the early 2000s when they stopped. It's like, oh, those had a lot more practical use.
Right. I want to talk about that strategy guide later a little bit.
Okay.
During our AD segment.
Yeah.
So Areno completes this challenge in typical Cacho fashion.
By the skin of his teeth.
Yes. And with the heavy support of most of his staff, especially and including his assistant director, his AD, Tojima-san, who is a top-tier AD, in my opinion, all-time favorite. I'm sad to see him go. I'm happy to know that he's not really leaving. He's just going to show up sporadically forever now.
Yeah.
Probably because people like him as much as I do.
He was like the only AD in season 1, right?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
which I have not seen.
No. It's I'm not going to get into season 1 here. It's a brisk watch, you know.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, I don't think we said this. This is season 2, episode 1 of the show. It is called "Solve the Mystery of Atlantis." That's the name of the episode.
That's the name of the episode?
Yeah. But this is season 2, episode 1. In case you missed episode 0, we're skipping season 1 because
in case you
it's
posers
a different
didn't listen
show.
to our podcast explain.
It's a completely different show.
Yeah. And they talk about that a little too at the top of this episode, how it's a completely different format.
He gets a raise, or he gets a
He
promotion
does.
to Cacho.
He is now the Cacho.
The namesake.
No, he's the Cacho Diary.
Oh, yeah.
Acting Cacho.
Yeah.
Yes. And we'll see whether or not that becomes a permanent position for him or not as the series goes on.
They make a comment about getting rid of the brackets on the logo for the show on his name tag.
Oh, yeah. It was so CX had like...
CX, which I looked up, is part of Fuji TV, which is like the huge...
Yes, that's their call
It's like the
sign, I
BBC,
believe.
Basically, of Japan.
Right.
There are two layers of brackets around the CX.
Yeah, so if you're watching this on video, which you can't because we're not recording, I've drawn CX, and then around it I've drawn 2 L's in the bottom right of increasing size, and then that in reverse.
If you're familiar with JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, it's the stand brackets, basically. 2 layers of that.
Okay.
That's to the listener, not you. Sorry.
And that's what they meant. So
this also introduces the first cultural thing that I had to look up. Which, by the way, segment warning: Culture Corner.
Culture Corner.
Culture Corner. He says, "Oh, I'm not. They wanted to. I'm not quite a bucho or buchu, which is like the next rank up.
You got it right
or the next
time. Yeah.
bucho. And then he says, but this isn't a car show.
The producers said that this isn't a car show,
and
so it wouldn't seem right or something.
I couldn't find what that was referring to.
Me either. I think it would just seem out of place, I guess.
Yeah.
I know that that's the next step up, as you said.
It means department chief.
Department chief.
So there's someone still superior to him.
God, I wonder if Arena will ever make it there. I've seen the first 100-something episodes of this, but at a certain point, I just stopped watching. And then when I started watching again, I restarted it.
Yeah.
I'll do that on repeat ad infinitum. So I don't know what happens to him.
Yeah.
He's still out there. He's still going. He's climbing that corporate ladder.
Yeah. So he is. But so as the show actually starts and he's playing the game, something that struck me almost immediately was the way the narrator he really makes fun of Areno. It'll be like dramatic music, and it'll be like, despite doing, having tried this already, he still does it and hasn't learned, or something like that.
No, they through the narration set you up to know exactly what kind of gamer Areno is, and that's one with a really big heart.
Yeah.
And no skills or talent to speak of. And that's hyperbole. That's not entirely fair. He does clear these challenges sometimes, kind of.
Never by himself, from what I've seen.
No.
Never alone.
I'm trying to think of one. There was one game. It was like
Did he beat Street Fighter 2 by himself? No, he had an AD beat whatever. That's jumping ahead.
Yeah, that's so many. Yeah.
You'll see that in like a few months.
There was one episode I know where he beat the game too easily. And then the staff had to scramble to make like a custom challenge for him, and he just blew right through that.
Dang!
Too. He went home in like 2
or
3 hours. Yeah. That never happened again.
But I kind of don't blame him on this one, because this game really looks like it controls awfully, and I wouldn't ever wish to play this game if I'm being honest.
I wrote down a few things here. It's the suicide warp, or stage 28, where the entire stage is dark, the dark stage.
Yes.
And
is that the one with the warp?
I'm sure they all had warps. I don't
No,
know.
the suicide warp that you were talking about?
No,
Oh, okay.
because I could see that stage. I remember that it was blue.
Okay. Oh, the blue stage. My
The
bad.
blue stage. It's just so I get that gimmick, and we see that gimmick done better forever in games. It's a staple, but usually with like bits of lighting or flashing light or an item that gives you limited light.
Yeah.
This stage is just fucking dark.
Yeah.
It looked annoying. Several parts of this game looked really, really annoying.
Honestly, he was really smart he like crouched and threw a bomb to find the like pitfall.
Yeah,
And that struck me as really smart. I never would have done that.
He has flashes of brilliance like this.
Yeah.
And those are the only thing keeping him
Kojima
afloat.
possessed him.
Yeah. A lot of stuff indicative of that era's game design, essentially.
Yeah.
Still figuring out what works, what doesn't. Taking chances. Sometimes taking a lot of chances. Sometimes those chances paying off. Sometimes you make Mystery of Atlantis.
Yeah.
And so there's that. I've seen worse. I bet I would play Mystery of Atlantis. I bet I could beat it. I might even enjoy it the first time once.
I don't think I could ever.
I think I'd enjoy it being over.
I feel like I just have a very little tolerance for kind of BS games like that.
I know this about you.
The games
to be true,
mislead the
yes.
player.
Yeah.
I don't like that. But the controls of this game reminded me a lot of Jump King, if you've ever played that.
Jump King.
Where it's a game where you're a little knight and your only moves are left or walk left or right, and then you can hold a button to jump, and holding it for X amount of time changes your arc, but there's no visual representative. You just have to become familiar with the timing.
Oh, I like that.
And it's one of those games like it's kind of a
What's it on? What is it?
it's I mean it's on Steam. It's probably on the Switch.
Yeah.
It's somewhat new. It's just an indie game. It's one of those games where if you mess up late in the game, you fall all the way down to the beginning. So like in theory, the game is not terribly long, but it's just frustrating.
It depends on you.
Yeah. But that's like this game. You jump and you hold the button for X amount of time, but then your arc is just predetermined.
Right.
And that sounds. I mean, I can't blame him on the one where it's all the trees that you're jumping between.
Oh, fucking hell.
I hate that.
That's actually a pretty good segue into our next segment. Areno, why?
Oh, yeah.
Just repeatedly. I think he spent 2 hours on that stage alone.
Yeah.
7 full game overs, dying in the same exact jump. And it's not, he has more than one life.
Right.
He's
He
not
has
just
4, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he makes it to that stage, and then he dies in the same spot 4 times.
Yeah.
And then he goes back and he does it again. And he spends 2 hours doing this. And this is a core part of who Areno is as a person and as a gamer.
Yeah.
We will see this motif repeated forever.
Yeah, you'll see it pretty soon, too.
Yes.
I will say, what struck me a lot about this episode was really the only Arena Y moment. I feel like the rest he really did try, and he didn't do anything outright stupid like that. He just really, it's just a tough game, and he's not that good, but I feel like he really gave it his all.
I have...
Up until that last, 15 minutes or so.
Well, at that point, I mean, how long was he playing this? He
7.5 hours, I
final
think.
stage in
8 hours,
5
30
hours.
minutes.
Damn.
Yeah.
All right. So a quick correction. He was on stage 3 for 2 hours, and that's where he died. He got 6 or 7 game overs.
Is that the tree one?
I think there's a couple tree ones, because I remember he was also stuck on stage 10.
Oh, there's the one with the clouds.
And that was, 44 lives on stage 10 alone. So
That's pretty bad.
I have one more, but that's for the Game Center trip. So I can save that, I guess.
The Tamage?
Yes.
Well, we're coming up on that pretty soon. But
I do want to say I agree with you, actually. I think later on we see a lot more egregious examples, a lot more numerous examples, concentrated examples of Areno showcasing his, I don't want to say ineptitude, his unique style of learning the game's
the brute force
fundamentals.
Yeah.
Yes, he's brute forcing it.
He really does. But this game, you could tell, put a real tax on him by the first, in the main series, the first appearance of his famous head
Cooling
pad,
pad.
his cooling
yes.
pad. It's just like a white, like I presume just like a icy hot kind of thing that he applies to his forehead. Because I guess he either gets so stressed out playing the game, so he gets so sweaty, you can see it, or it just gets hot in the room with all the people in there. I don't know.
Well, you can see, hold on, I wrote a note about this too. There's so many people. They turned the camera around at one point.
Yeah.
There's so many people in that room, and
Yeah.
it looks small. So besides like the body heat generated, it's just him, and he's been there for several hours,
Yeah.
and I bet there's a lot of people there who want to fucking go home.
Yeah.
The pressure's on. And so not only does he have to play this game, he has to be amenable, cheerful, funny, witty while doing it. I would be sweating too. Yeah.
You can really see him kind of lose steam in some of these episodes towards the end, where his only reaction is, "Oh, it happened. Oh my God, I died." Or just something like that.
Wow.
He doesn't really make jokes. Yeah.
Kuso.
Yeah. But this really surprised me because I wasn't expecting this. The first like ad break of the show, it's basically just like an ad for Famicom games.
Yes.
And all the ad breaks are like that.
So those aren't necessarily ad breaks. Those are still part of the program, I guess.
Right. But they happen like at the bumpers.
They happen to break
breaks.
up the main action. Yes. Yeah.
But yeah, it straight up just is advertising Famicom games in the year 2003, and it says it shows the box art and then it shows clips of the game and describes it. Which is like, I don't know. Do they have deals with these companies?
In 2003, is that 2 or 3 generations removed from Famicom?
Let's see. After that, there was would have been 3, right? Because there's SNES and N64 and then GameCube at that point.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that is too fucking old to be doing this. Well, I think it goes with the theme of retro games.
Right. I mean, and also it's a lot easier to find older systems in Japan. Even now, like you can find Chrono Trigger for like $10.
Okay.
It's wow. Yeah, they made a lot more over there.
Okay. They talk about that a bit in the next episode, actually. But we're not here to talk about that right now.
We're here to talk about Mystery of Atlantis and solving it. So. Which this game really pissed me off because this shit doesn't look like Atlantis at all.
Maybe that's the mystery.
I hate this game. It doesn't look like Atlantis. It doesn't sound like anything. There's I can't even picture the music.
It's closer to Doki Doki Panic. It's closer to Super Mario Brothers 2.
It's just, it really is.
It's a dreamscape of nonsense.
The gameplay doesn't make sense. The like warping thing is just annoying. It feels like this game they were still in the mindset of making arcade games. It's like, how do we get people playing as long as possible?
Right.
In obtuse ways. But at that point, you already sold the game.
I was
make a normal game like Mario. Make Mario.
I was having a conversation about that actually with my oldest son. I was showing him Contra a couple nights ago, the original.
Yeah.
And we're playing co-op, as you do in Contra. And we make it to the end. We beat the final boss, which is kind of anticlimactic. And then the credits roll, and he's like, "What? That's it?" It was like 20, 30 minutes from when we started. And I'm like, "Yeah, this is what it was back in the day." Not that I'm that old. That wasn't that wasn't the generation I was born into. But I played a lot of those games, and I know that the main focus of the game was replayability, not longevity.
Yeah.
Which is just shocking to him. There's no achievements.
Yeah.
There's no.
He's 9 now.
There's no DLC.
Right.
He's 9.
Yeah. So that, just for frame of reference.
Yeah.
He was like born after the Nintendo Switch.
Yes.
No, before, but very close to.
Very close.
Yeah. But anyway,
when did the Switch come out?
March 2017.
He was born before.
Right.
Almost a full year before.
Okay.
Yeah.
But still very, that's just, he was not really grown up exposed to that kind of old game stuff.
Yeah.
I have a note here about the Famicom game advertisement thing, which is that Doki Doki Panic, which you mentioned, does make an appearance, and even say in the West it's actually called Super Mario Bros. 2, and it's kind of reskinned. And I thought that was interesting that that I didn't know, I wasn't sure how much of an awareness that they had in Japan about that whole scenario.
I'm not sure myself.
Which, for those uninformed, Super Mario Bros. 2, which, if you're familiar, is very weird. You can play as one of 4 characters: Mario, Luigi, Peach, or Toad.
Correct.
And they all kind of run and jump differently. And instead of jumping on enemies' heads, you have to jump on them and pick them up, or pull radishes out of the ground and throw them at enemies. It's just such a departure from Mario 1 and every Mario after. And that's because there's a game that you have to imagine was somewhat popular if they wanted to bring it over, called Doki Doki Panic. Or maybe they just really wanted to push a Mario sequel because the first one was so popular.
You know what? There was a different Super Mario Brothers 2 in Japan.
Oh, yeah, the Lost...
We know as the Lost Levels. And in Japan, they said, these fucking Americans, they can't do this.
Really?
They can't beat this game. We got to give them something easier. We have to give them Doki Doki Panic.
That game's not easy.
Or they're not going to like Mario anymore.
Really?
I'd
never heard that.
Yeah, I'm paraphrasing, but that is the...
Right.
Not resentment.
The gist?
The thinking behind it, yeah.
Huh. But anyway, so yeah, it's just a completely different game that was... The characters... The only thing that was changed was, like, the characters, right? The protagonist?
I don't know.
Because Mario's not even...
That's the biggest change. I don't know if there were any others.
It's a frog?
Wart.
Yeah, Wart the frog.
Yes.
Anyway, that's just... is the whole thing.
Yeah.
That's a bit of a tangent.
There's our Doki Doki Panic tangent.
Yeah. I look forward to the next one.
I was watching this episode with my wife, actually, and we're going through these
Brag.
Game collections. Which part? Wife?
Yeah.
And we'll see. Is it this episode? Yeah. Kid Icarus came up.
Oh, yeah.
And they said Pitakun.
What is it?
She started, Pitakun!
What is it? It's called Palthena?
It's Icarus no Natso.
Oh.
No, just I'm lying.
Oh. It's called like Quest for Palthena or something like that.
I admire
I don't know.
how willing you were to go along with that with me. It's not called Mystery of whatever the fuck I said.
Mystery of Icarus, I guess. Oh, you made a joke? I didn't even pick that up. Okay, I'm done.
Our Zelda 2 came up and it says Link Noboken.
Yeah.
And she shouted that back.
Did you notice when it showed the title screen for that game, you could very tiny see in English and red it says The Legend of Zelda.
No.
So even at that point they had adopted that series name because the first one, and I think the series as a whole still in Japan is called The Hyrule Fantasy. And they changed the name over here.
If my phone wasn't on silent and charging out of reach, I would look that up.
To confirm it's true?
Yes.
Well, I can confirm that the first one is called The Hyrule Fantasy and they changed it to The Legend of Zelda.
I could believe that.
Yeah.
But
I'm surprised you never heard that.
For it to continue to this day to be the Hyrule Fantasy.
Oh. Yeah, I don't know. The reason I'm skeptical now, I believed that up until yesterday. The reason I'm skeptical now is because on the Zelda 2 title screen that they showed in the ad, it said The Legend of Zelda in English. Yeah, they showed that. The Kid Icarus it's just naming the series after the princess you're trying to save. I don't know if that's a thing, like
that
The
is
Legend
an
of Zelda and
connection
then
there, yeah.
something of Palthena, which is like the goddess in Kid Icarus.
Yeah.
I mean, in the subtitles, it called her Palthena.
Palthena?
Yeah, Palthena, which I have to imagine is like close to Athena, right?
That's like that.
Maybe she had a different name back then.
It's like that NES baseball game that tries its hardest to make a bunch of American names.
Yeah.
I don't remember any of them.
Me neither.
It was like
They're
Bob Cheeseburger or something. I don't know.
Or it's just sorry for those who don't know. We can't look it up right now, but trust us, it's funny. It's certainly funny. Okay, moving on. Enough about these dang advertisements. After they come back is their first Tamage.
Yes, where they go.
Check out this game center sometime, or you should check out this game center.
It depends on who's translating it. By the way, this episode was translated by the TV Nihon translation group. There's a bunch of these groups that translate these episodes, and so I guess I wrote that down because I meant to mention it at the top of the episode.
That's a good thing to bring up.
Do you mind if we start over? The whole thing. Okay.
Yes, we're doing episode
Okay.
0 we're at it. No.
But I've seen it as you should visit this game center sometime, or I want to visit this game center. Stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yes.
But they go to a game center in Tokyo on the roof of a place called Shinikawa Ku Oimachi.
Good Lord, you wrote that down?
Yep.
You're so much more prepared than I.
It's like a big department store, and they have a game center, which is what we'll be calling it. It's an arcade.
Yeah.
On the roof, that's part inside and part outside, which is came as a surprise to me because I feel like it'll get rained on.
That's what I thought too. Yeah.
And it's like, oh, even if it's covered, it might rain a lot and flood and
Still,
get into the wiring or whatever. But the reason he went is because someone wrote him a letter saying, I used to play this game, like a very, very old Sega motorcycle simulation game called Hang On.
Uh-huh.
That's like one of the ones where you ride and you have handlebars like you probably see in, Dave and Buster's all the time now. But it's very old, like picture NES graphics on the screen. The bike didn't turn. You just tilted the handlebars.
No, it did have handlebars that turned, but it did not have the bike didn't.
The whole thing
itself.
it didn't buzz or it didn't
Right.
turn.
There is an interview with the guy who created Hang On
Really?
that I have to check and see if it's in season 1 or if it's upcoming, because it's really good and he has a really funny story about its public debut.
Really?
That speaks a lot to Japanese culture. The gist of it, in 5 seconds, elevator pitch, is that no one wanted to write it at first because no one wanted to be that person. Like, what the fuck is that?
They were scared of it?
Yeah, exactly.
What if it breaks and destroys me?
Yeah. Well, I think it's more like, what if somebody sees me?
Oh, yeah. Everyone else is standing or sitting at their little Astro cabs or their little
exactly, yeah.
2.5 foot wide cabs, and I'm over.
Exactly, yes.
But I don't.
We'll get to that, or we won't at another time.
I don't want to spend too much time on Hang On because he doesn't play it in this episode.
He does not find Hang On in this episode.
Which is, it's not for the game's fault, it's his fault.
Yeah.
It's fully his fault.
I'll tell you whose fault it is. This is my last Arena Y moment. He tried that fucking coin launch game 85 times.
The kind of like manual pachinko thing?
Yes.
Yeah.
85 times.
And it's 100 yen each. That's about $85 now.
And
this is in 2003?
He made his crew stand there and film him flip that fucking coin 85 times, Jackson.
85. I can't get over the fact that's $85 in 2003. So that's like, that could have bought you like 2.5 AAA games or something.
Right.
Oh, or 1.5. But yeah. So he plays that. He plays the coin game. That like really, he sets his mind on it.
Which I guess is the mindset you got to have if you're going to do what he does.
He plays a game called Iraida Bo, which he says is based on a segment from a TV show.
Oh, I remember that.
Yeah.
Yeah. They kind of flew past that. Honestly.
They really did. It looked less fun than the coin flipper, I'll be honest.
Right.
There's really a lot of these games that are like, I don't know how to describe them. They don't have a screen. They're just like interacting with...
I thought like analog games,
kind of like the one where you point where to launch your coins that you put in the thing.
Right.
You put a token and it rolls down, ski mountain.
It's designed more for not so much a video game arcade or game center, but more like win prizes and tickets sort of thing.
Yeah, like a bridging the gap between arcade and carnival.
Oh, I was just gonna say that. That's
really?
Good. Yes.
Nice. Write that down.
Yeah.
Okay, so now we're back. Oh, I looked up something on Iraida Bo.
Oh yeah.
So this is crazy actually. I read a lot about this game. It's based on a segment from a show called, you ready for this? It's called Uchan Nanshan no Hono no Challenger. Kore ga dekitara hyakuman en. Sorry, that was a horrible read. That was not clean at all.
Can I read it?
Can I read the English translation first?
Yes, please,
okay.
please.
It translates to Uchan Nanchan's Challengers of Fire. 1 million yen if you can do this.
That's fucking awesome.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
And Uchan Nanchan is a pretty famous comedy duo.
Okay.
A stand-up comedy duo. And this show ran from 1995 to 1999, and it was like basically every episode would pull someone from the audience and they'd have to do some crazy challenge and they'd get 1 million yen if they win, which is what? That's $10,000? It's 1/100th is whatever is what it is.
Right now, it's whatever you say it is. I don't fucking know.
Yeah, I think it's 10,000. I think.
Mm-hmm. So it's like The Price is Right meets American Gladiator, or what? What are the challenges here?
I kind of just read the Wikipedia. I read the translated Wikipedia because it's from Wikipedia Japan. There's no American or there's no English article for this. One of the most famous challenges was turned into a PS1 game called Irritating Stick.
I feel like I've heard.
Yeah, it's pretty popular.
Oh my god.
And the cover art is a little hand doing that holding a stick.
Yes.
Yeah, that's based on a popular segment from this game. But yeah, here you can read it. You can read it now if you want. It's at the top.
I want to see the homogenized. Let's see. Uchan Nanchan no Hono no Challenger Korega Dekitara Hyakuman. Oh, N.
Yeah, N.
E-N.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry.
All right.
But yeah. Okay. So now we're back to the challenge.
Yeah, we should talk about the challenge a little bit too.
I don't know. I think the segments really bring the whole show together.
They do.
Because when I get tired of the challenge, it does a segment, and then when I get kind of bored of I'm like whatever. Okay, I've seen enough of this arcade. It goes back to the challenge. It really is a great way to fill time.
By the time we get back, has Tojima come in at this point?
No, this is when he comes in.
Okay, yeah.
After the arcade segment, it's the AD Tojima, AD MVP alert.
Hey.
He tries stage 10 and he fails it. He also fails it.
Oh yeah.
He says, "Can I get one life?" And he says, "Oh, okay." And then he tries these. He fails. He says, "You suck, Tojima."
What was the exact thing he said? It was so funny. I wrote it down.
He says, "Like, can I get another one?" He says, "No."
He's like, "Can I please play one?"
Oh yeah.
Can I please have a turn or something?
Yeah. Can I please get one life?
Please let me have another turn.
Yeah. And he says no.
You know what I love about Tojima is he's sitting there and he has this permanent smile.
Yeah.
This
he's just happy to be there.
effervescent, positive energy that goes well with Areno. And Areno, they say something like, what does he say when Tojima's introduced? As veterans who fought together.
Yeah.
Areno has deep trust in him.
Yeah. From what I understand about Areno, that's hard to achieve. He really doesn't like anyone.
Well, and you'll see specifically as we go along, we find more ADs. Hell, by the
one
end,
in this episode.
By the end of this episode, spoiler alert, he gets a new one, and he's a lot of them are very deferential, very like TV executives' nephew interning and thrown into something,
Yeah.
And it's just, God, I'm just so happy to be here. Please don't yell at me. I know I'm at the bottom of the chain. Oh.
Yeah.
Not Tojima. All right. Mm-hmm. He's, you can tell he's confident. He's cool.
Yeah. He's comfortable around Arena, which a lot of the other ADs don't seem to be.
They have, exactly. It's that
They're camera shy.
that power dynamic,
Mm-hmm.
Whereas Tojima...
At least it's portrayed that way.
Yeah. And I'm sure a part of that is for the show, for the narrative, for the central conceit here. But Tojima and Areno, they have this camaraderie, this respect for each other. They're really having fun up there.
Yeah.
You can't manufacture that kind of chemistry. And I think this contributes a lot to the reason why Tojima is always coming back. Classic Areno move here near the end, making Tojima, when he dies near the end, Areno, as he almost inevitably always does, he makes his AD play the whole fucking
Yeah,
game
over and over.
to get back to where he was.
Dude, I bet he loves the rewind function on Nintendo Switch
Oh, I bet.
Virtual Console.
A Reno, the save state king.
Yeah.
The save scum lord.
Yeah.
I like that one.
Save Scum Lord. That's pretty good. Yeah, but the idea... So Tojima... this brings up something that I kind of thought from the get-go that I thought was a lot of fun was the show's not self-serious at all. Like, it plays up the like narrative thing, and it has the king come up and show the difficulty of every part of the game, like out of 5 stars, how difficult. Right. Now he has to jump across the clouds to go to the thing.
Frame perfect jumps.
Difficulty 4 stars out of 5.
Uh-huh.
Oh, I forgot about no, that's the next game. The jumps, the big jumps.
Is it? No, that's this game.
Where he has to jump at the very edge.
Yes.
You're right, because he has to bomb at the very corner.
Uh-huh.
And for whatever reason, falling off that ledge looks really... They make it look really hard, and I believe it is, but it looks like it should be easy. Anyway, yeah, it's not very self-serious. It's not like he's pretending that he's alone in this room. It's just him and the camera. He is always looking and talking to the other crew members in the room, and they laugh, and you can hear it, but they're not mic'd up.
Right.
It's just just kind of spatial audio in the room. It's not it's just very lighthearted production.
Do you think he brings those same people that laugh with him out to the game centers?
I think that's just his crew. Because there's got to be a sound person, like maybe 2 camera people.
Then follow-up question, is there a laugh person?
Because it is always the same laugh.
Yes.
I think they just have a big laugher.
Yeah.
You know how sometimes when you're watching like late night talk shows, you can... There's sometimes a guy that has a distinct laugh you can hear in every laugh break or applaud break.
All right.
I feel like he just has one of those guys. Or maybe the other ones are kind of like shy laughers.
Right.
And he's just not. Maybe it's not that he's bold. He's just not shy.
So you think this person has a dedicated position on the crew and also has a laugh.
Yeah.
That is distinctive.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
But I have to imagine, when they go to the arcades, they have 2 camera people and a sound guy.
Okay.
And, have that guy being one of those is not that hard to imagine for me.
All right. No, yeah. That makes sense.
Yeah. But he does have if you've seen the show, you know this laugh.
I used to work in theater.
Oh, here we go.
Well, a trick I picked up early on as a director was, if something is funny, if something your cast is doing is funny, you should laugh. You should be sitting out in the crowd and you should be laughing. Mm-hmm. And that's going to let them know. That's going to send them the right message.
Right.
You should be giving them all that positive reinforcement.
You think he's a yes man?
Especially actors. I do. He's who, Areno?
Yeah.
Oh my God. That was a long time in the making. He is an incredibly performative person.
Yeah.
He's half of a comedy duo. So he gets up on stage himself.
Is he the straight man or is he the goofball?
He started out as the straight man, and now his comedy duo, Yoiko, is known as the comedy group with no straight man or whatever their term for.
Yeah, the other one. The stooge.
Yes. They have specific Japanese terms for it. I was just reading about this, but
I don't remember either. That's okay.
Yeah. I guess what I'm trying to say is, I bet they're laughing. I bet they think it's funny, but I bet they're also laughing for Areno's benefit. Mm-hmm. Not because he's not funny, but because that is a helpful tool.
Yeah.
For performers.
This is their version of a multicam laugh track.
I think it also serves that purpose.
Yeah.
Actually, yes.
But
to a lesser degree.
Yeah. Well, obviously. Which is a lesser degree is not a word I would use to describe many things about the show. No. The show really cranks every single aspect of it up to 11. It
is, yeah.
It's the narrator coming in every 3 minutes to tell what he just did and what has to happen.
And then the on-screen graphics and the sound and the music, making it seem like if a Reno dies in the game, he dies in real life, you know?
He has one chance. Will he do it? And it's just stuff like that. And like at all this time, it has like the Evangelion text, the like title text at the bottom. Like, make the jump or restart the game.
Right.
Stuff like that.
Getting the fucking robot over there.
Yeah.
His first name is Shinya, which is pretty close to Shinji.
Yeah, you're right.
What was I going to fucking say before this? What are we talking about?
We're talking about the laugh track.
A little after
The laughter. We were talking about the show being cranked to 11.
So I mean, that level of absurdity, of self-seriousness only really works, in my opinion, when you juxtapose it with something like this. A 30-year-old man playing video games in a room.
Yeah.
You know?
Is he only 30 at the start of the show?
He's in his 30s
Okay.
at this point, yeah.
He carries himself like a 46-year-old.
Yes. Thank you. Yes, his physicality is
Yeah.
consistently of middle-aged man.
Yeah. Which I guess is kind of his character.
Yeah.
And also, all his ADs, which are most the other people that are ever on screen with him, are always really young.
Yes.
Yeah.
That probably plays into it, too. I wonder if that's on purpose.
Another thing I wanted to mention about the game center, which I forgot to earlier, was when he wins the game that he spent 8,500 yen on, the coin launcher game.
Yeah.
It doesn't like dispense the prize he was supposed to get, so he just calls over the woman who runs the game center and makes her open the machine. And he says, what does he says? Happy series, something.
I don't know. It was like candy or something.
Yeah, and it
It
expires
next month.
I thought it was October 2004. Was season 2 in
2003, 2004-ish.
Okay.
He said if they came next month, they would.
Oh,
expire.
you're right. Yes,
Yeah.
you're right. And then he wins another similar game, and it drops the prize onto the floor,
Right.
and it's the same thing. And he finds that really funny that it's the same exact price.
I do too. I find it charming, even. You know, it's
that he spent $85 on a tiny box
not
of candy.
that. I find him fucking ridiculous sometimes.
He's on TV, man. What do you want?
Jesus Christ, Dorito. Yeah, I guess that did come out of their discretionary budget. I'm sure that wasn't a Reno like, yeah, I want to play this.
He was reimbursed.
85 times. Unbelievable.
Looked hard.
What would I do 85 times?
Like in a game? Like an arcade game?
Ever.
In
In a row, I guess.
Yeah.
Without taking a break, giving up, or...
Picross levels.
Oh, shit. All right. You got me there. All right. Oh, my God. When he gets to the... So Tojima comes in with the strategy guide, right?
Yep, I was going to say that.
Which...
It's tiny.
Where did he fucking get that strategy guide?
The studio is based in like Tokyo, right? I'm sure there's gaming stores where you can just buy and they have shelves of these things.
But in 2003, to buy a strategy guide to this obscure Famicom game from the 80s.
It might have been like a retro gaming store, like how the one close to us is they have a bunch of just old stuff. Like they have old strategy guides and stuff like that.
Yeah.
You know, for popular games, but like I kind of said before, Japan's more of like they kind of like
You're right.
all games.
I'm looking at this through my own lens.
Through
here.
American
Yeah.
eyes.
You're right.
Yeah. I didn't find it that
that's
ridiculous
cool,
that he
then.
went and found
I want to
it.
go there. Even a Reno too. He's like, what, that was on sale? Where?
Yeah. There's an even cooler place in episode 2, which we'll talk about.
Yeah. And so he reads in the strategy guide about the warp, right? He's like, okay, I can beat this game in 10 fucking levels.
It's 1 to 3 to 11 to like 94 on through 90.
Something like that,
right?
Yeah. And he proceeds to do so. Almost. He gets all... I laugh so fucking hard. He gets all the way to the last level. And there's the final boss, if you can call it that.
It's
just a gauntlet of faces on the wall that are shooting bullets way too fast.
Oh, that one. Yeah.
And quickly realizes he cannot get past this.
Yeah.
He cannot get past this. Unless
God,
he has
this game
an
sucks.
item.
I hate this game
I know,
so bad.
right? Unless he has a specific item from one of the earliest levels
very
that
early.
was not included in the fucking route that the strategy guide told him to take.
Mm-hmm.
Oy vey. God damn. That is so funny.
The more I remember this game, the more I hate it.
Mm-hmm.
It's just is. Please, no one ever try to play this game. It won't be fun for you. It was only fun for us because we had Schadenfreude with this episode.
But I think that's really a great example of Reno's luck, of Reno luck, if you will.
Yeah.
He's, there's that end of the spectrum of, well, I mean, that's an all-encompassing example. That he finds a 10 level route through this 100 level game.
Yeah.
And then he's like, great. And then he reaches the end of it and realizes he's got to go back for this one fucking thing.
He experiences some great misfortune.
Exactly. Yes. The hero's journey.
Yeah.
He finds warps by accidentally falling into pits.
Yeah.
Like from stage 3 to 6.
Yeah. Which happened to have the star, right? Or whatever he needed.
Possibly. They all start to blend together by the end of it.
This game started to blend together from the very first second that it was on
Yes.
screen. I hate this game. Mystery of Atlantis. Come on.
Accidentally. Oh, the way he found that invincibility item in the first place was on accident.
Oh, yeah.
When he had that streak of levels that he just beat,
Yes.
Eventually he got hit, clearly, and he didn't get hurt or die, and he realized, like, wait, what?
Yeah.
Because he accidentally picked up an invincibility
There you go.
item and didn't even realize it. Anyway,
So, back to Tojima.
always back to Tojima.
Yep. So he bought the strategy guide. He cleared stage 10. He got his retribution.
Yes.
He finally got to beat stage 10 after failing it along with poor Reno earlier on in the episode. At the end, by the time they kind of have their route down, their route.
Route, sure.
Yeah. They go to 1 and then 3 and they get this item and they go to 6 or whatever and they go to 11 and they're on to the 90s. They're finally in the 90s. With the item that they need. They have their route down. Reno gets to the boss level, which you mentioned, gets to like the final boss or something, and dies.
Right.
Unsurprisingly, and then he's like, "Okay, well, I've proven I can get here. Tojima, get me back there." So Tojima has to play through the whole route from level 1 to level 100 through probably like 9 levels. Every single time, just for Reno to die a few more times on the last level. He says, "Do it again, bro." He basically plays all by himself for 99% of the last 10 minutes of the episode.
Thankfully, these ADs are so much better at these games
Yes.
than
Somehow, they
is.
all feel like they've all played it 100 times before.
I bet they have.
You think this dude has played Mystery of Atlantis?
Because it's his job.
Yeah, I
If
guess
that
that's
makes
true.
sense.
You think they're they prepare these games
Like
before?
outside of the fake narrative of the show, I mean, I bet I know the ADs actually prepare by playing these games because they need to be Reno's backup. And I think that's an unintentional, probably, commentary on the corporate structure.
Yeah.
There's this guy in charge. He's tasked with doing this thing that everybody below him can do a lot better. But they're not going to get promoted.
Yeah. They're not going to become Bucho.
No, they're not.
They're not even going to be Cacho. Cacho Daidi.
Yeah. I'm sure that's, as I said, unintentional, but I thought that was really funny too. And you'll see it so many times as we go through 80s that are just effortlessly talented at these games. It's just completely embarrassing for Reno. It's funny.
So basically, Arena eventually beats the level. I don't even remember the final bosses, how much I hate this game. Do you remember what it is?
Yes, please let me recount the ending of this game.
Yeah, do it.
He has the invincibility item.
Okay.
He reaches the final stage again. Really quick, right before this. He's on stage 97. That jump you were talking about, where he's got to jump really down to that corner. Yeah.
like a...
and get to the secret door.
Yeah.
And there's this part.
Oh, you
where sorry, go ahead.
You launch the bomb and then you jump in time with it exploding.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's got to jump down to that point. And so he's practicing the jump on a safe space, but he's running out of time. And the whole crew is yelling at him.
Yes.
That's not important.
Oh my God.
He's, with this huge shit-eating grin, just calmly says, "Shut up, everyone."
And also on that same attempt, he has enough time, but he blows himself up, right?
He does.
Yeah. He doesn't even do it.
He kind of panicked. He was about to get a timeout. But he does eventually do it. He reaches the final stage with the invincibility item. He walks past all those faces shooting bullets at him. He reaches this strange creature standing in the middle of the room and what appears to be a diamond of something.
Okay.
And he touches the diamond, and on the screen it said, "Congratulations."
Oh, yes.
Yes.
Yeah. And the text goes like diagonal.
Yeah.
God, that's funny.
The stage appeared to go on too.
Yeah.
But I guess that was the ending.
Yeah. He cleared it.
Arino, confused, trying to figure out what's going on, asks Tojima, "So what was the Mystery of Atlantis?"
Yeah.
To which Tojima replies, "It has been solved."
Oh, it's so good. He's right.
I think this episode is indicative. It has all the hallmarks of the greatest episodes of this series, you know? The obstacles Arino overcomes feel like he actually had to get better to overcome them. And they were interesting to watch. As much as this game blended together after a while, it was never not interesting to watch. Probably not interesting to play.
No. Which, God bless him for doing it for 8.5 hours.
Yeah.
Well, sorry. Him doing it for probably 6 hours and Tojima for probably 2.
Right. Yeah. You had great back and forth with the AD. I thought the Tamage segment was good.
Yeah, it was great.
As I learned watching the next episode, as I relearned watching the next episode, sometimes the game collection part, the bits are 33% of the fucking episode, and so they didn't go too long this time. I'm grateful for that.
Yeah.
It's
like the game collection bits?
The
ads?
Yeah. Like Super Nintendo games from March 1992. You know?
Yeah. All from the same
They're
devs.
very hyper specific.
Yeah. I think these ones were all Sunsoft games. That was like the thing.
No, because they had Link no Boken.
Oh, you're right. Maybe on one of the breaks it was all... I remember that jumping out at me. I don't know.
That might have been the next one.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Was the next one also Sunsoft? I don't know. We'll see.
Maybe we can look that up on the break before we record the next episode.
Yeah. But last thing I want to say about this episode, as we kind of get to the end here.
How long has it been?
55 minutes.
That can't be true. I feel like I just started talking to you.
Me too.
Oh, we got to cut out half the bullshit. And
What?
That's so long to be talking about this.
That's a normal podcast.
That's longer than the episode. That's crazy.
That's fine. We have stuff to talk about. Why are you getting all uppity?
Okay. I'm scared people aren't going to like me.
Okay, last thing I wanted to say about the episode was... Last thing I wanted is at the end, after they beat it, Tojima drops this huge bomb on us.
Oh, I know. That was so like, by the way, you'll never see me again.
And this is the end of the game, and
Yeah.
it's also the end of me. Is pretty much what he says.
I wrote it. I said,
Oh, yeah.
Tojima said, "Bye, good luck."
Yeah.
Essentially.
But Tojima's gone. He's no longer the AD.
You know, he got a bouquet and a nice send-off. We'll all miss him. We'll see him again. Not too many times, but several times.
Yep.
And then the episode ends as the credits go. As the credits roll, there's this scene, this scripted scene where Arino's sitting on top of the game center, or on the roof of the game center that he visited, and his new AD runs up to him. Sasano.
I like him.
I wrote Sasano ... I like him. I like him just fine. It's just it's Tojima's such a hard act to follow.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, buddy.
But Sasano, he plays the fresh blood well, I think.
He does, yeah.
But this kind of is another cultural thing, a little thing to top it off, is when they meet, they exchange business cards.
I wrote that down to the business card exchange.
Yeah.
You see how they do it?
They hand it off equally and bow.
Yes, it's two hands.
Yeah.
It is disrespectful if I just gave you something one-handed. Disrespect on you and your family.
It's offering like a sword.
Yes. Yes.
Two hands. Very interesting to me. And they kind of do a similar thing in the second episode. Yeah. But we'll get to that. And I feel bad to keep referencing the next episode. I know. But it'll keep you on you folks on your toes.
And then finally, the king.
Oh,
he signs off with...
This little king character.
He signs off with "Good job, Tojima."
Yeah. Last bit of business here. I think we didn't explain the king at all. So the king is like...
we really didn't.
He's just like the pseudo mascot of the show.
Yes.
He appears at the intro. He has he doesn't have a voice. He's a little kind of picture like a little old Final Fantasy sprite of a old English royal king. And he introduces the game. He has like a little text box that says, "Oh, here's the game," and here's a little teaser of the episode. And then throughout the episode, at different hills in Arena's challenge, it'll go the frame will go picture in picture, and it'll have like a pink or green border. I can't remember what. And the king sprite will be there with the little description of the challenge that Arena's facing, and he'll have a little text box that's pointing to the king that has the difficulty of the challenge of whatever hill he's on out of like 5 stars, which is just so. It's just, I don't know. It's just unlike anything I've ever seen.
I know. I don't know how to.
You kind of don't bat an eye because it's so in the nature
it feels
of the
right
show.
At home. Yeah.
But it's so weird. It's I bet when I was describing it just now, you had such a hard time picturing it.
Yes, exactly.
It's because it's just so unlike anything.
It's they're never referenced or explained. But and you'll see as the seasons go on, it's not just the king. There's a queen.
Yeah, they have a whole mini subplot.
As for specific seasons, it'll be like
there's an evil king.
The king has been possessed.
Yeah,
and Reno needs to beat games to help the king beat the possession.
Though he's never acknowledged by the real people in the show.
No, not once. I think that's everything I have.
Yeah, we're at about an hour.
I write down anything else funny. What is the mystery?
You solved it.
Yeah, it has been solved.
Yeah, that's a good way to wrap up the episode, I think. This has been solved.
All right.
So you don't need to play this game. I can't push that enough. All right.